How is it going, guys? I hope you guys are having a great start to your Saturday morning. I just got done watching My Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 4, and I really enjoyed this episode. I gotta say, it is still a very simple episode, but I enjoyed the content that we really got within it. There's two main parts to this episode. There's the beginning part where everyone has to pick their teams for this cavalry match that they're about to be going into, and then the second part is us delving into the cavalry match with all of the teams being selected, and then everyone basically going after Deku's team, trying to obtain that 10 million point bounty that everyone is after right now. I absolutely love the fact that right now that Izuku is kind of like enemy number one to everyone involved in the sports festival. I think that's really cool, and it kind of drives his character to actually push himself and to actually, fulfill the destiny that he has been set upon by All Might to be like, announced to the world, I am here, I am going to be taking up that mantle, but taking up that mantle is going to be coming with some hardships and some roadblocks, and those roadblocks basically come with Todoroki and Bakugo. So I really enjoyed this episode, so I just want to delve into the main theme of this episode, which basically is just strategy. Strategy wins out in the end. Sure, you can be very powerful with everyone having their individual quirks. You can be a very powerful fighter, but if you're not smart and if you don't think your way through in a battle type situation or with the team, you end up losing, and it kind of really shows that, especially with Bakugo within this episode, because he is very hot-headed. He doesn't tend to think out a strategy. He kind of just goes in, balls ablaze, and then he just goes in because he knows he's powerful. But in the end, that ends up backfiring for him because everyone else that is developing a strategy, either from the qualifying, obstacle course race that they had going into the cavalry race, especially with Class B, like that class right there is actually utilizing strategy to its fullest because they actually were very smart going into the cavalry race because they allowed themselves to actually throw the obstacle course race and to actually observe everyone's quirk and abilities, so that way they can actually formulate a plan when it came to the second event in the sports festival. And the blonde-haired guy, who's basically right now stealing all of the bandanas of points right now, he is probably the smartest character besides Deku, who actually thought things through and actually formed his team accordingly, because right now he's basically taking away everyone's points, and everyone from Class A is now a target of Class B, because what I love about the strategy is that he knows that everyone right now is after Deku's team. And since everyone is going after Deku's team, it makes it an easy target for him and his team, the blonde-haired guy from Class B, to actually, sneak in under the radar and steal everyone's bandanas while they're also gunning for Deku. So I really like the use of strategy that they're using, and just goes to show that Class B, even though they're not so hyped up as Class A, because Class A, ended up fighting the villains and all that back in Season 1, this class is kind of showing itself right now that, like, don't underestimate us, because right now we're going in for the kill, and we're going to be showing everyone else that Class A isn't probably the main class that everyone should be looking towards. So I really like that about this, but I actually want to talk about Deku in this situation, because I actually like the fact that even though right now he can see that everyone is gunning for him throughout this entire episode, he still keeps a level head. I like the fact that he did not cry throughout all of this episode, and he actually used his brain, because his brain, besides, that all-for-one quirk that he has, is his superpower. Deku is a very smart character, and he utilizes that to the fullest extent in this episode with developing a good team, using strategy built behind it, so that way everyone on his team is able to contribute and has an advantage for them to win overall throughout this cavalry battle race that everyone is having. And I love this fact, that Ochako immediately, when Deku was kind of like looking for a team and no one was coming towards him, she was the one that came right up to him and was like, I'll join your team. And I absolutely love Ochako. She is probably my favorite female. It's getting really hard to actually say she's my favorite female because of the pink-haired Mai Hatsume tech support girl. I loved her throughout this episode. She is just so cool. And right now, with her relationship that she's kind of building with Deku right now, when they're kind of like nerding out about all the geek and technology and the heroes, kind of made Ochako feel a little off to the side. So between Mai and Ochako, I have two of my favorite girls right now of this series on Deku's team, and I just gotta commend him for, like, dude, you're doing a fantastic job with choosing your team right now. But before Mai started to join the team, he actually went to Ida first, which I think the strategy built behind that was actually very smart, because with Ochako's quirk of, gravity, like zero gravity, and the way she can make things weightless, and having Ida's speed, it would make mobility and then moving around being a lot easier. But I can't fault Ida for actually refusing the offer and actually ended up joining Todoroki, because I like his resolve in this because he views Deku as a friend, but also as someone as kind of like a mortal enemy in a way, but not in a bad sense. He kind of views him as this rival. He wants to actually, surpass Deku because so far, throughout all of My Hero Academia, Ida has kind of played second fiddle to Deku. Deku has gotten all these achievements, and Ida has kind of like come up short when it came to battling or being beside Deku. So I love the resolve that he has to where he's basically telling Deku, no bad blood, I'm coming after you. I want to challenge you. We're rivals right now. We're still going to be friends, but I want to come after you. And you got to respect Ida for actually doing that because I don't have no bad blood while I'm watching this. I saw Ida make that decision. I'm like, I can't fault him for that because honestly, that's like a good thing to do. It creates competition, and with competition comes awesome moments within the sports festival. So the more people that are going towards Deku and actually pushing him to become better and stronger, more the merrier, I can say. But by the end of this, they had this little cliffhanger to where he had to fulfill that last spot, and he eventually did. And for Team Deku, we basically had, Deku himself, we had Ochako, we had Mai, which I love that she's a part of the team, and then we actually had Birdman himself, Toko, I actually wrote it down here because I don't want to mispronounce his name, Tokoyami. And I actually like the inclusion of him on the team because this also goes back to strategy. You're supposed to have a 4-man team, but his quirk is kind of like having an extra person on your team because not only do you have Tokoyami up in the front, but his is like a shadow creature that comes out of him and therefore another entity, another person on their team. So in a way, they're technically a 5-person squad. So while Ochako and Mai are in the back, providing the movement and trying to make everything lighter, you also have Tokoyami and his quirk looking out and actually covering all blind spots, and also having Deku calling the shots up front. I think is very smart, very cool, and it just goes that the use of strategy within this episode is very, very important when not only being a hero on a team, but also out in the real world when you're actually performing heroic deeds as a superhero, which I think is so, so cool. But moving forward from that, Todoroki is also very interesting within this episode too because he has the power of fire and ice, and while his team is talking with him, we actually get glimpses, which I believe is his father Endeavor, the flame hero that's only second to All Might. We get glimpses of him throughout this episode, and you can tell that there's some bad blood right now between Todoroki and his father. And he made like a weird line too where he kind of said I'm not using my left side, which I can guess is the fire side of him because he's got fire and ice, and we've seen him so far using his ice ability throughout, the obstacle course race, and he says that he's not going to be using his left, which I can only assume is his fire techniques. And so there's got to be some bad blood between Endeavor, the flame hero, and Todoroki to where he is just so angry with his father that he actually isn't going to bother using his fire quirk, which I think is very interesting to note, and it's just something to keep track of. But then as we're going through this whole episode, just to round off this review, everyone right now, from Class A is gunning for Deku, and it just all comes back to the use of strategy that Class B is using because right now, they got Bakugo's headband, they got a whole bunch of other teams' headbands, and right now, Bakugo is just so angry and blinded with rage that he just wants to kill everyone within Class B right now, especially the blonde-haired guy. I don't know his name because I don't think they even mentioned his name throughout this entire episode. He is a very interesting character, and I'm really looking forward to see how this plays out in the next episode and where his character is going to go with the future of this sports festival arc. But just to round it off, we're left with that cliffhanger of Todoroki's team going up against Deku's team, which I'm really looking forward to. And I believe that Todoroki's team is consisting of Ida, Momo, and then the electric guy. I don't remember his name right now, but he's got a solid team as well that he built, and the strategy that he implemented in picking his team I thought was very cool as well. So we're just kind of left with that cliffhanger of Deku going against Todoroki, and then who's going to be left with the 10 million point headband at the end of the day, and then we're just going to be moving on to the next event of the sports festival. Overall, very enjoyable episode, kind of a very simple episode, but the moments within here with the character interactions and just getting to see everyone's quirk being used as a team, I think is very, very cool. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this episode as well. How do you guys feel My Hero Academia Season 2 is doing so far? Are you enjoying it? Are you guys really hyped for what's to come in the sports festival? And do you think that Deku is going to be having his headband by the end of this cavalry race? So a lot of questions still up in the air, and we're just really looking forward to see what is to come. So leave your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to my channel if you guys feel like it and want to talk My Hero Academia as Season 2 goes on. I'm really looking forward to talk with you guys down in the comments. So just give me your thoughts. Episode 5 will be out next week, and my review for that, I really can't wait to just delve into that content. So until then, I will talk with you guys later. And remember, Plus Ultra, guys. See you later.